Hello, my wonderful people. So I bumped into the conversation of False Nine, but it has been a long time this conversation was made. But remember what they say: it is better late than never. So I just want to give my 2 cents on who a false nine is, or what a false nine is, depending on what you see it as. There are people who say a false nine is not a number 9, and there are people who say a false nine is a number 9. Both of you are correct. But understanding truly in totality what a false nine represents is the actual challenge in this discussion, because most persons do not really understand truly what a false nine represents. Now, let us go into the nitty-gritty of what a false nine is. False and nine, these are English words. False meaning that this thing is not correct. Nine, so you are saying that this number 9 is not a correct number 9. Now, those of you in medical school, there's something we call pseudo in medical practice. There's something we call pseudo. Now, let's take for instance, we say pseudo glaucoma. Now, we are trying to say this is false glaucoma, but then there is a deeper explanation to this in medicine. Now, when you say this is pseudo glaucoma, you are saying that this particular, condition is behaving like glaucoma, but not really glaucoma. I don't know if you understand. This condition superficially is looking like glaucoma, but when you go deep, there are some characteristics that differentiates it from glaucoma. But if you are looking at it on the normal ground, you will think it is actually glaucoma because it is now acting like glaucoma. But when you go deep, you will now see some differences between the actual glaucoma and the pseudo glaucoma. And that is why it is called pseudo, meaning false glaucoma. Now, let's bring this into perspective in the footballing world. Pseudo number 9, false number 9. That player acting, having the characteristics of a number 9, but also, trying to act like a midfield player or like a winger. That is a false number 9. It has the characteristics of a number 9. You are looking at it on the paper. You are looking at that player on the paper, and you are saying, this player looks like a number 9. But then, when he begins to play, you begin to discover that he also has the characteristics of a winger or a characteristics of a midfielder. Who is a natural number 9? Who is a natural number 9? The natural number 9 is that box player, that player that always fights with defender, is always in the box, is always at the center, fighting to get goal. Is a goal poacher. He's always there fighting to get the goal. Always at the 18-yard box fighting to get the goal. All he needs is send down the ball to him, and he will bully the defenders and try to get the goal. Think about players like Drogba. Think about players like the one in Erling Haaland, the one in Manchester City. These are proper natural number 9, the traditional number 9. But then, why I am telling you, or why I said that the both parties, people who say that a number 9 is not a striker and then a number 9 is a striker, that they are correct is this. A player can say he's a number 9, but has the attribute of when you see him play in the pitch, he's always dragging back, coming to the midfield, playing with the midfield player, circulate the ball and also push attack. So he tries to push attack, he tries to score like a number 9, he tries to act like a number 9, but also in his play, he also tries to track back, play with the midfielders, collect the ball, come deep, play with the midfielder. You look at persons like Lionel Messi. Sometimes you see Lionel Messi, they will say in the season Lionel Messi was playing like a striker, he was playing as a false 9. So he can come deep into the midfield, collect the ball, play with the players there, and move in and wait for the wingers to create something, and then he will strike the ball. But then on the paper, you may be seeing that player as a number 9, but in the field of play, he is playing as a number 9, but also playing as a maybe winger or a midfielder. Then you call such a striker a false 9. But then it can be a tactical move by the coach. It can also be a tactical move by the coach, such that the coach will say, okay, because of this particular tactics I want to play, I want you as a winger who has the ability to play as a striker and also have the ability to track back and help the midfield. I want you to play as a false 9. Then you can now conscript a player who is not a natural number 9 or a traditional number 9 and play him on paper as a number 9. And then when he comes into the pitch, he understands that his duty is to play as a number 9. He has 2 roles: to play as a number 9 and play as either a winger or a midfielder, coming to form a diamond in the midfield. Usually the midfield has 3 players. Usually, under normal circumstances, they usually have these 3 players circulating, something like you see Vitinha, you see Fabian Ruiz, you see all those guys, they are usually 3. But then, when you now have a striker dropping deep into the midfield, playing with the midfielders. What that situation does is, number one, it helps that team hold possession of the ball. And what that particular formation does to the opponent is two things. One is it takes away possession from your midfield. Then if you want to fight it as the opposing team, or you want to say, okay, let us fight it, let one of our defenders move with the striker, with the first nine. Let that defender move with the first nine and try to block the first nine and try to create a scenario where they are not in total possession of the ball. Then you are creating extra space for the wingers, and that is what most coaches want to achieve. They want a situation where that number 9, who they call a false 9, will now draw deep into the midfield, play with the midfielder, create a chance for them to be able to handle the ball, and then by so doing, drag the defenders out to give the wingers opportunity to play better football. Why do I say better football? Is that once you drag these defenders into the midfield, then the wingers have less players to challenge or less players to deal with. But if you allow the defenders stay where they are, then once the midfielder is going, maybe the right winger is going, the left back is following him, and then another defender is behind him trying to support him. So once you beat this one, the other one is there to take the ball away from you. But once that false 9 is in the middle, trying to play with the middle, it has dragged that defender into the middle. Then once they square the ball to the winger, he has less persons to deal with before he gets into the 18-yard box. So that could be a tactical move again by these coaches. So understand that a number 9 who says he's a number 9 can play as a false 9. I think Pep Guardiola did that once. He once played Erling Haaland as a false 9. You see Erling Haaland dropping deep into his own half, half, and then passing the ball to the wingers, creating space, dragging the defenders in his own half, then creating space for his wingers. These are tactical changes, play that coach can decide to infuse into his game to confuse the opposing team. So that situation will now drag the defenders into your own half and then create space for the wingers and leave them with little or no extra pressure to work or to deal with. Leave them with little or no pressure to deal with. So this is the situation. This is what a first. So a natural number 9 can play as a first 9 in some games, and then somebody who is not a natural number 9, somebody who is not a number, can be conscripted into playing a false 9 because they have seen the characteristics. Just like what Enzo Maresca did against PSG, he converted Reece James, took him to the midfield, told him to play the midfield because he wanted to gain possession of that midfield by adding Reece James. Reece James is that player who has that capability and that qualities to do what? To hold the ball, to organize the ball, to play the ball in, to attack, to defend, to make tackles, and also win, not just making tackles, but win tackles. So he wants a situation where Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, and the rest will not have opportunity to, take possession of the midfield. And that helped him a whole lot. So you see, he has converted the left back into a central midfielder such that he will help them with his tactics. So it can be a tactical move. Any position can be a false position depending on what the coach wants to achieve. And the natural number 9 can also be playing as a false 9 depending on the characteristics of that number 9. There are players who have low center of gravity that it will become very difficult for you to get the ball away from them. People like Messi, people like Hazard, you see them short with low center of gravity. They control the ball. Their balance is higher than you, that is very tall. And so they can disperse the ball, move the ball, and make those runs. And then you see them excelling in situations like this. So this is what I see as a false 9. Anybody can be conscripted into playing a false 9. A natural number 9 can also, because of his style of play, can be in false 9. Can play like a false 9. He can play like a false 9. His game style might be the game style of a false 9. Coming deep, receiving the ball, passing the ball, and also moving in to play as a number 9. Another player who is not a natural number 9 can be conscripted into that position because they have seen the characteristics, see that he can play certain things and he can fit into that role of his false 9, and then they give him the position to play like a false 9. So it could be a tactical move. It can also be a player, a number 9, just playing his normal kind of play as a false 9. So let me know what you think in the comment section.